The body consists of 11 systems that work together to allow the body to function. Each system plays an important part in daily activities. The skin, or integumentary system, protects the body. The muscular system allows the body to move. The bones of the skeletal system give structure to the body. The heart and blood vessels work together in the cardiovascular system to distribute oxygen and nutrients to every cell in the body and to remove waste materials from the cells. The respiratory system brings oxygen in the body and removes carbon dioxide from the body. The digestive system processes food to nourish the body. The urinary system rids the body of harmful wastes. The nervous system controls the function of other organ systems and allows us to exchange with the world around us. The endocrine system also coordinates the function of other systems by producing chemical messengers called hormones that regulate a wide variety of ongoing functions. And the reproductive system allows the continuation of the species. The immune system is the body's defense system, protecting the body from harmful substances such as infection and other diseases. We're going to talk about how the body changes with aging, but let's first talk about each one of these systems and what they do. The skin, hair, and nails together are called the integumentary system. They protect the body from the outside world. The skin acts as a barrier to microbes, keeps water inside the body, regulates the body temperature, and contains sensory organs for the sense of touch. When exposed to sunlight, the skin also produces vitamin D, a vitamin that is very important to maintain bone health. The skin is made up of two layers, the dermis and the epidermis. The skin rests on a layer of fat called the subcutaneous layer. The outer layer of the skin is called the epidermis. Remember your medical terminology, is firm and dry to the touch. Beneath the epidermis, the dermis contains sweat glands, which produce sweat to keep the body's temperature in safe range. Oil glands, which produce oil to keep the skin soft and flexible. Hair follicles, which produce the hairs that cover most of our body. And sensory receptions, which give us our sense of touch. The blood vessels and nerves that supply the skin start in the subcutaneous layer and send branches into the dermis. Every movement in the human body, from the blink of an eye to the beat of a heart, depends on muscles. The body has hundreds of muscles that come in all sizes, from the delicate muscles of the ear to the large, powerful muscles of the leg. Muscles do their work by getting shorter and contracting in response to electrical impulses sent through nerves. To recover from their work, they relax or get longer. Some muscles, such as those in the arms and legs, work together in contracting and relaxing teams to ensure the movement is controlled and smooth. For example, when you bend your arm at the elbow, muscles on one side of your arm contract, pulling the joint and causing it to bend, while muscles on the opposite side relax. So when you straighten your arm, the opposite happens. These muscles are voluntary, which means that a person is able to control when these muscles contract and relax. Tendons are strong connective tissue which connects muscle to bone and help the bone move when the muscle contracts and relaxes. Other muscles, such as the heart muscle and the muscles in line of the digestive tract and blood vessels, are involuntary. A person is not able to control when these muscles contract and relax. Instead, these muscles contract and relax automatically in response to signals from the central nervous system. Now, the skeletal system consists of 206 bones in various shapes and sizes. The bones are primarily made of calcium and hard mineral that gives bone strength and durability. In addition to providing structure for the body and movement, some bones protect vital organs. For example, the skull surrounds the brain. The 12 ribs and breastbone, or the sternum, cover the heart and lungs, and the vertebrae guard the spinal cord. When two bones meet, it's called a joint, and the bones of a joint are held together by ligaments, which are strong bands of connective tissue. The cardiovascular system consists of the heart and blood vessels. Blood vessels, called arteries, carry blood away from the heart to the rest of the body. The largest artery, the aorta, has strong elastic walls that will not tear under high pressure of the blood as it's pumped from the heart. As arteries get further from the heart, they become smaller in diameter. Blood vessels, called veins, carry blood back to the heart. Veins are thinner than arteries because they carry blood under less pressure. As the veins get closer to the heart, they become larger in diameter. Tiny blood vessels are called capillaries and connect arteries to veins. Capillaries are so small that red blood cells, visible only through a microscope, have to squeeze through them single file. The heart, made mostly of thick muscle, is about the size of a fist and weighs about 12 ounces. It's divided into 4 compartments called chambers, which are separated by small valves that act like swinging doors to keep the blood flowing in one direction. When the heart pumps, it sends blood out through the arteries to all of the tissues in the body. And when the heart relaxes, it refills with blood that is returning from the tissues through the veins. The blood itself is made of cells and plasma, the fluid that carries the cells. Red blood cells carry oxygen, white blood cells fight infection, and platelets help the blood clot. The respiratory system brings oxygen into the body and removes carbon dioxide from the body. When a person inhales, air enters the body through the mouth and nose. It passes through the nasal cavity into the pharynx, through the larynx and into the trachea, or the windpipe, which is a thick tube that leads to the lungs. On its trip to the lungs, tiny hair called cilia warm and clean the air. The air continues along the trachea, which splits into slightly smaller tubes called bronchi. The bronchi enter the right and left lungs and then divide like branches of a tree, becoming smaller and smaller with tubes called bronchioles. These bronchioles end in little air spaces called alveoli. Each lung has millions of alveoli, which look like bunches of grapes, really. The alveoli are surrounded by capillaries. Life-giving oxygen passes through the walls of the alveoli into the blood in the capillaries, where it's taken back to the heart for distribution to the rest of the body. At the same time, carbon dioxide, a waste gas, passes from the blood into the alveoli so that it can be expelled when the person breathes out. The digestive system consists of organs that break down food, absorb nutrients, and eliminate solid waste produced by the digestion process. The process of breaking down food is called digestion. Digestion begins in the mouth. Chewing with the teeth breaks the food down into smaller pieces, and chemicals in the saliva help to break down the food further. The tongue contains sensory receptors called taste buds that allow us to taste the food we eat. The tongue is also used to push the food back to the back of the mouth. Swallowing causes the food to travel down the esophagus, a muscular tube that connects the mouth to the stomach. And once in the stomach, the food mixes with more chemicals produced by the lining of the stomach, helping to break the food down even more. From the stomach, the partially digested food enters the small intestine. Contraction of the muscular lining of the intestine, which is involuntary, causes the partially digested food to move through the small intestine and then through the large intestine. As the partially digested food moves through the intestines, or bowels, water and nutrients are absorbed through the walls of the intestine into the bloodstream. And by the time the digested food reaches the end of the large intestine, all usable materials have been removed, and all that's left is the waste product of digestion, or feces, and the feces leave the body through the rectum and anus. There are other organs that play a role in digestion. The pancreas, which is located in the abdomen near the stomach, produces enzymes and hormones that aid in digestion and affect how the body uses the nutrients it obtains from food. The liver, a large organ located above the stomach, produces and secretes bile, a substance that helps the body break down fats. Some of the bile the liver produces is excreted directly into the small intestine, and the rest is stored in a small pouch attached to the liver called the gallbladder. The liver also performs many functions that are not related to digestion. For example, it helps clean the blood, and it plays a role in producing the proteins that help the blood to clot. The urinary system consists of the kidneys, ureters, bladder, and urethra. It removes waste products from the blood and eliminates them as urine. The 2 kidneys, bean-shaped organs about 4 inches long, are located beneath the rib cage, with 1 kidney on either side of the spine toward the back wall of the abdomen. As blood passes through the kidneys filter out waste products and excess fluid to form urine. The urine passes from the kidneys through the ureters, where it is stored in the bladder. Urine collects in the bladder until it fills to about 2.5 cups. At this point, the person feels the urge to urinate or pass urine from the body. And urine passes from the bladder to the outside of the body through the urethra. In women, the urethra is separate from the reproductive system, with the opening located in front of the vagina. In men, both urine and semen pass through the urethra, but never at the same time. The nervous system coordinates our responses to what goes on in the world around us, as well as what is happening inside of us. The nervous system consists of the central nervous system, which includes the brain and spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system, which includes the nerves. Special nerve cells that send and receive information are called neurons, and they form nervous tissue. The brain processes and gives meaning to the information that it receives from other organs of the body. The immune system consists of organs, tissues, and cells which primarily contain lymphocytes, a specialized type of white blood cell that plays an important role in fighting off organisms or other foreign substances, including the body's own cells that have changed due to an illness such as cancer. The two major types of lymphocytes are B cells and T cells. B cells mature in the bone marrow and form antibodies, substances that attack foreign substances and attempt to eliminate them. T cells, on the other hand, mature in the thymus, a gland located just below the top of the breastbone. T cells attack organisms such as bacteria, viruses, parasites, fungi, and foreign tissue. Other organs and tissues of the immune system act as filters to remove debris and foreign substances. These include the tonsils, adenoids, spleen, the appendix, and lymph nodes. The reproductive system consists of the organs involved in reproducing the cells and hormones that are necessary to create new life. The female reproductive system includes organs involved with supporting the baby before and after its birth. The reproductive system in female is different from the reproductive system in males. The female reproductive system consists of the ovaries, fallopian tubes, uterus, vagina, and breasts. The ovaries are two almond-shaped glands located on either side of the uterus in the abdomen, produce eggs, the female reproductive cell, and hormones during the women's reproductive years. A girl is born with all of the eggs she will ever have. Each month, hormones released by the ovaries cause one or more of the eggs to develop and be released into the fallopian tubes. The fallopian tubes carry the egg to the uterus, a hollow muscular organ. If the egg is fertilized by a man's sperm, it may develop into an embryo and then into a fetus. The uterus serves as the home of the growing fetus for 9 months. If the egg is not fertilized, menstruation occurs, and the lining of the uterus is shed, and the cycle begins again. The lower portion of the uterus, called the cervix, opens into the vagina, the passageway extending from the uterus to the outside of the body. The vagina is the birth canal, and the passage through which menstrual blood leaves the body. The vagina also serves as the organ that receives the man's penis during sexual intercourse. In women, the breasts are also considered a part of the reproductive system because they produce milk that is used to nourish the baby after birth. The male reproductive organs include the penis, the scrotum, and testes, or testicles, the epididymis, the vas deferens, the seminal vesicles, and the prostate gland. The testes, which produce sperm, the male reproductive cell, and hormones, are housed in the scrotum, a pouch of loose skin located behind the penis. Sperm cells begin to develop in the testes, but finish developing as they move through the epididymis, a coiled passageway that leads to the vas deferens. While in the vas deferens, the mature sperm cells mix with secretions from the seminal vesicles and the prostate gland to form semen. The vas deferens connects to the urethra, and when a man ejaculates, semen leaves the body through his urethra.